Thanks for tuning in to my beginner-friendly tutorial today. We are making spotted mushrooms. Start by choosing your color. I'm making red mushrooms today, so I'm using some red clay and making 2 balls. Flatten the bottoms of each ball, then shape the tops into a dome. Now we're starting on the stalk. I've chosen tan clay for the stalk of my mushroom. Roll out your clay into a thin layer and cut it into 2 strips. Then use the scraps of clay to form 2 balls. Roll those balls into cylinders, then use your fingers and your workspace to shape your mushroom stalks. Using one of your strips of clay, lightly hold it against your mushroom stalk to measure, then cut off the excess and repeat with the other mushroom stalk. Take one of your tan strips and hold it so that it forms a slight curve. Attach the top of that strip to your mushroom stem. Do not connect the bottom of the strip. Leave that free. Using whatever tool you like, smooth and connect the clay. Repeat the same steps with the second stem. Using small bits of tan clay, roll out a couple of circles. This is going to be the underside of your mushroom head. I'm using cutters to make my circles, then using a textured mold to add detail to the circle. Smooth down and connect the circle to the mushroom head, then move on to the next. Now we're connecting the top piece and the bottom piece of the mushroom together, smoothing it together with our tool. Repeat with the other mushroom. Before baking, I'm just going to use a couple of tools here, my wooden tool and my X-Acto knife, to add some detail to the mushroom stalk. Now's a good time to bake your clay according to the package instructions. I'm using a bit of tan clay and liquid clay and mixing them with a silicone mixing tool as well as my X-Acto knife, and I'm combining it until I reach a whipped consistency. I'm using that whipped concoction to sort of glue my mushrooms down to the tile. This is so the mushrooms don't move, but it also adds texture. You can see here that I did go in off camera and add a few triangular shapes of clay to the stalk. I connected them with some of that liquid clay. It just adds more dimension to the stalk. To add some color to my mushroom and give the illusion of dirt, I'm using a brown chalk pastel and using my X-Acto knife tool to shave some of the color off. Then I'm taking an eyeshadow applicator and applying that color to different parts of my mushroom. To add spots to the tops of my mushrooms, I'm using some of that whipped clay and a couple of tools and randomly placing dots. Let's make a base for our mushrooms. I'm using a circle of brown clay and rolling out some snakes of green and wrapping them along that brown clay to resemble grass and dirt. Using my pointy tool, I'm adding texture to resemble grass. And then I'm going to add some liquid clay and put my mushrooms on the base. Using my X-Acto knife tool, I'm dragging some of the brown clay up the mushroom stalk so that it looks like dirt. Just repeat this process until everything looks the way you want it to. For some finishing touches, I'm adding some clay flowers, and this is ready to bake. That's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's a final look at all of my polymer clay mushroom creations. Thanks for watching.